You could be anywhere on YouTube, but right now, you're exactly where you need to be. You're in the best place on YouTube. Dude, you're right here on Just Alyx. And by the way, Alyx, that's my middle name. I don't spell it cool like you. I like that, A-L-Y-X. Hey, Just Alyx. Best wishes from Rob Van Dam. Pow. Let's do another one. Welcome to Just Alyx on YouTube. From the whole effing show, RVD.
Initiating login sequence. Welcome to Alyx's world.
Hello all, and welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host, Alyx, Just Alyx, and this is my Monday Night Raw review. Let me tell you something, and I've said this before many times over the last decade since I've been here on YouTube. You want to know how I know a show sucks? Yes, bad segments. Yes, bad matches. Feels too long. Nothing really happens. Here's a good indication, for me, how I know a show sucks. If I tell myself while watching the show, if I didn't have to do a review tonight, if I didn't do this for a living, I wouldn't be watching this show. There you go. That's how you know this show was not good. Did things happen? Sure. Rhea Ripely got a new belt. It's exactly what we all predicted. I called it on Friday when Asuka got introduced her WWE Women's Championship, and it was an exact replica of the Universal title, but just white strap. I said, well, same thing's going to happen with Seth Rollins' belt. Just white strap. Guess what? That's exactly what we got. Does the belt look better with a white strap than the Women's Championship? I think it does. Does it look good overall? Sure. At least now, we don't have to deal with brand exclusive Women's Championships. So, no belt swaps in case Vince McMahon gets bored with one belt being on one specific roster. So, I guess that's a good thing, right? But other than that, sure, we got some matches set up. We got Seth versus Rollins. Seth versus Rollins. That's how you know I'm tired. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor at SummerSlam. SummerSlam. Jesus Christ. This is... Now, that did happen at SummerSlam. That was 2016. It's a rematch from their SummerSlam match. But it's at Money in the Bank in London. There we go. So Seth Rollins will take on Finn Balor at Money in the Bank, but he's also going to take on Braun Breaker very soon. We'll talk about that later on. I mean, it pretty much spoils the result of the NXT match, but regardless, we got Cody Rhodes facing Dominic Mysterio. We got the full lineup for the men's Money in the Bank match. We got one more spot for the women. I think that's going to be resolved this upcoming Friday, I believe. I'm not too sure. We'll have to figure that one out. I think that's it. I saw that Logan Paul's coming next week. Great! See that smile? I'm excited. Again, this was raw. This was rough for me to sit through. I was literally just like, man, I cannot believe how bad this show is now. And usually when I say the show is bad, I always get the same responses. I mean, it could have been worse. It's not the worst show in the world. It's rough to sit through. The shows are so generic. A lot of these things feel so... The segments especially feel so choppy and rehearsed. I dread that we've gone back to this, but that's what happens when an old man plays politics and can't let things go. And in case you're wondering, yeah, Vince McMahon was in charge of this show. He rewrote it, apparently, hours before the show went on air. And apparently he just changed some segments and the timing of some segments. Apparently what he did last week was the same thing. He changed the order of the segments and then how much time each segment got. That's what he was doing. Those are significant changes, by the way. He might not be changing who's on the show. He just changes how much TV time you get. Well, this is WWE now, and it's not going to get any better. This is it. I fear where things are going to be once the Bloodline storyline ends. And I've said it before. I told you this weeks before it became apparent to a lot of people. The Bloodline storyline is coming to an end. I see it ending, at least this iteration of the storyline ending at SummerSlam. Somehow, some way. Might not be with Cody Rhodes. I mean, at this point in time, they'll just probably have Cody show up on SmackDown and get a title shot. I don't think they don't care about the brand split. But even if it's not Cody, it will probably be Jey Uso. Maybe they'll bring in somebody to do it. I don't know. But I feel like we're wrapping this up. There's no reason to hold this over until WrestleMania next year. There's no reason for that. I don't see them doing that. But yeah, it's a yawn of a show. But you know what? Quite frankly, most of y'all weren't even watching. You want to know why? Because you were too busy watching the Denver Nuggets win the NBA Finals. Congratulations to the first time ever NBA champions, Denver Nuggets, right? This is their first NBA championship win. Wow. That's pretty big. That's a big deal. That's a team that's been around for decades, and this is their first time winning a championship. That's pretty good. Give them their props, man. Yeah, luckily for you guys, this is not just a Raw review. We have a ton of wrestling news to get to. We're going to first start off with the WWE TV rights. They just discussed it earlier today, where they're not going to be renewing their deals. It's looking like they're not going to be renewing their deals with Fox and or NBC Universal. What does that mean? I'll keep it short and sweet. After 2024, October 2024, Raw and SmackDown will be moving to different networks. SmackDown will no longer be on Friday. It'll probably still be on Friday. It just won't be on Fox. Fox on Friday. And what seems to be history in the making, Raw will no longer be on the USA Network, which has been the home for WWE Raw for I don't know how long. I think the last time they moved off of the USA Network was like Spike TV era. But then eventually they went right back to the USA Network. Wow. That's crazy, man. It says here, and we'll get more into it in just a second, but it says here that Disney wants the rights to it. Now, they're not the only people that want the rights. Amazon also wants the rights. But Disney is a strong contender. And if Disney owns WWE, man, Disney won't own WWE, but it'll get the rights to WWE. And if that happens, that's a whole different bag of red tape. Understand me when I say this. If you thought NBC Universal was a red tape company, man, you put Disney. Oh man, you put WWE in Disney's hands. It can go either way. But we'll get into that in just a second. Man, I don't I don't know what the future holds for WWE, and I don't really see myself getting invested anymore in this product than what I already am. But let's see what happens, man. We're gonna go ahead and get things started. We're gonna do the shout outs, we're gonna do the sponsorship, and we're just gonna roll along with it. It's gonna be a lengthy podcast because I got a lot to get to. But those of you who are tuning in to me, thank you for making me a part of your day. You could be anywhere else, but you chose me, so I appreciate that. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. If this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. While you're at it, help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership, click that join button, and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing. Whether it's a live reaction, a hot topic, or review, past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to give thanks. Hit that super thanks. If you would like to donate after the fact, you can. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at Just Alex Central. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a follow on Spotify. Give me a follow on Cameo. And then give me a follow on TikTok. For I am the tickest of the talkest. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo. And yes, Super Chats are officially on. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast. Get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalexsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi, and please get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Get you an old school Deluxe Man t-shirt. Get you a new school Alex's World t-shirt, but most importantly, get you a blonde hair, blue eyes, apple pie. America is the remix. The remix. T-shirt made by Itch, Janoxy, Firestar Heart. All this down below in the description box. Today's sponsor is Audible. Get you a free Audible trial for free podcasts and free audiobooks today using the promo code JustAlex. Let's get a quick word from the sponsor so we can get to these shout outs. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of audiobooks. They have over 180,000 audiobooks to choose from, including books written by wrestling legends like Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, Bryan Danielson, Drew McIntyre, and Jim Ross. Today, if you visit www.audibletrial.com, JustAlex, you can get one free audiobook of your choosing. Audible is the best place for audiobooks, and I cannot recommend it enough. In my time, I've listened to Chris Jericho's The Best in the World and Bryan Danielson's Yes books, both narrated by them personally. And here's the best part. Even if your membership wears out or you just aren't satisfied with the product, you can cancel your free trial at any time, and your audiobooks are yours to keep. So again, go to audibletrial.com, JustAlex, and begin your journey today. All right, thank you all so much. Over 100 people live right now, but we only got 48 likes. Let's change that. If you're just watching me here in the live, please hit that like button. If you're watching me after the fact and you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. It is imperative that you guys like the video. The more you like the video, the more opportunities I will be given to be recommended here on YouTube. So help please boost that algorithm by hitting that like button. Also, show some love to the moderators. Ultra Shot 97, Firestar Heart, Alyx, Demi, YouTube Band Pro Wrestling Girl, Big MGM, and Khalil Does Everything. And everything. That was a weird recovery for a botch, but regardless, not as bad as the botches tonight. Anyways, thank you all so much for being here. We're gonna go ahead and just knock out these shout outs really quickly because we have a lot to get to. It's gonna be a long broadcast, and super chats, just send them in. Matter of fact, I usually pause super chats, not tonight. Just send them in. Just send your super chats in, and we'll just get to them. I'm not gonna pause them because I'm so bored with the direction of WWE right now that I don't even feel the need to structure my broadcast for it. Now, when it comes to AEW, I'll be more structured because I do have a lot to say about what they're doing. But with WWE, it just seems like they're just doing shit now. But alright, sounds good to me. And the person to blame is number one in the live chat. That being Vinnie Mac. He says, Logan's back. Back again. LP's back. Tell a friend. You think you funny? You funny, Vince? Well, I don't think you're funny, and I'm not laughing, sir. Edward Duncan. Wrestle Spider. Wrestle Spider. Wrestle Spider says the Raw Women's title design was so predictable. Man, I called it on Friday. Didn't I say white strap, gold plate? Does it look nice? Yeah. But damn, like these guys are so lazy with their designs, man. Dylan Danger, Regito Boy, the Black Nostalgia Nerd. We also got JJ, who let the dogs out? Bulldog saying congrats to the new NBA champs. The Tribal Chief is in the building. Steve Jacobson, Monaco 42, Hades, the game in the middle of the ring. It's also here. The Beep Jr. Congrats Becky Lynch for being the first ever SmackDown champ and Rhea Ripley for being the first ever SmackDown Women's champ. Huh? Oh, being the last ever SmackDown Women's champ. I read that wrong. I was like, what? They can't both be this first. I see what he meant by that. So yeah, Rhea's the last, Becky's the first. Interesting. Darcy Chatham, Anthony, why? Beavis, but that's what I'm thinking of for some reason. Joseph Winters, FG204. Let's do 5 more. Paid Enthusiast, GP Adult, Adam Ritter, Anastasia Ratcliffe, Crochet? Did you add in Crochet? Okay. Do you think crappy booking will be partially done when Charlotte beats Rick's championship record? No, it'll continue to be crappy. You don't know what else to do with Charlotte. And the last one's going to go to Fried Melon. All right, thank you all so much for being here. If I don't say your name, please don't be offended. It's not because I hate you. We really got a lot to get to tonight. And if I don't start anytime soon, I'm going to be here until like midnight. It's a big, loaded broadcast. Oh, and by the way, I did hear about BJ Whitmer. We'll talk about that on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite, because that is a huge deal. And those of you who just went, who the hell is BW? Did I say BW Whitmer? Or did I say BJ Whitmer? I think I said BJ, right? If I didn't, my bad. BJ Whitmer is a Ring of Honor talent who's also an agent for the show. So this is the first agent I think they fired. Like, actually fired. Outside of Ace Steel. But like publicly fired. They didn't publicly fire Ace Steel. They publicly fired BJ Whitmer. So that's the topic for Wednesday. We'll get to that. Because I'm waiting for more details about exactly how severe it was. Apparently he got arrested for domestic violence. God. That's never good. And let's be real, people who abuse their wives or vice versa, people who abuse their significant others, they've been doing it for a while. That doesn't just happen out of nowhere. That's been going on for the longest, probably years. And they're just sick of it. They just got to a point where they're like, nope, I'm sick of the abuse. I'm sick of being miserable. And that's what happens in life, man. No matter where you are. You can be at a job that you can't stand. You could be in a relationship that you can't stand. Once you reach the point in your life where you finally made up your mind and you go, okay, you know what? You or me. You or me. Either I'm miserable and you're happy, or you're miserable and I'm happy. You're gonna make some decisions. That's when the healing truly begins. And I've heard someone tell me, you can't find joy in life unless you put Jesus and others before you, right? This is the Christian of me. The Christian part of me speaking. Excuse me. Yes, I do believe that there is joy in putting others before you, but you can't be happy unless you're set first. You can't put others before you if you don't know how to love yourself. You can't put Jesus and others before you if you don't know what love looks like. So you have to be set first before you can put others before you. You have to take care of you first. You are important as well. All 3 of them need to matter. You can't raise your children, you can't take care of your children if you don't know how to love them through you loving yourself. Like, it's hard for me to quite put that into better words than that, but yeah, man, take care of yourselves. I really do say that. Like, when I end my broadcast, I always say, please take care of yourselves. I mean that. Mentally, physically, emotionally, make sure you're taken care of. Otherwise, you'll end up in situations like with BJ Whitmer. And I said I was going to save it until Wednesday, but guess what? We're talking about it now. So, please understand that you are not selfish for putting yourself first. Anything done to the extreme is bad. But those who don't do it at all, I feel like that's just as bad too. There has to come a point in time where you come first. Your happiness comes first. Put your happiness first. So I don't know who's being abused right now, but hopefully that message got to you. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and move along with the broadcast. As I said before, I'm not turning off super chats because I thought Raw was extremely boring tonight and very lifeless. So, have fun. But luckily, we're not talking about Raw right now. We're going to talk about TV rights. WWE TV rights has come back in the news because major updates have hit the wrestling websites. And these updates are huge. This is literally game-changing for WWE and everyone involved. So I'm just going to read to you what I have here on Fightful Select. And it's also from PW Insider. So here's what is reported. From the New York Post, by the way. Says here, the New York Post reports that WWE's exclusive media rights negotiation windows with NBC, Universal, and Fox have expired with no new deal made. Ooh. This allows them to engage in discussions with other potential media partners. The current contracts for WWE Raw and SmackDown on the USA and Fox networks, respectively, will end October 2024. There it is. There it is. WWE is moving away from USA Network and Fox at the end of next year. Now, I did see a report, I think it was actually last month in May, from Wrestling News Co. about Fox changing up the lineup for 2023 and 2024. And I was like, is that an indication of something to come? And I reached out to Sean Ross Sapp and I asked him, like, what does this mean? And Sean didn't even know. I think that's why. I think they're getting ready to move away from WWE content. And you know what? Honestly, just from my perspective, it will get into potential buyers, Amazon, Disney, and probably someone else. But in terms of these networks that WWE has been on, since I've been watching wrestling for almost 25 years. Actually, it has been 25 years. I think WrestleMania 39 was 25 years. 25 years. Wow. A fan of 25 years in the making. That's a long time. It's a long time to be a wrestling fan. I have seen WWE move across networks. I've seen them go to Spike TV. I've seen them go to... Wait, weren't they on the USA Network before Spike? I think it was USA, and then Spike TV, and then back to USA. Right? So this has been a staple for WWE since the beginning. I think, right? Someone remind me if they had any more networks, maybe before Spike TV or afterwards. I think it's been USA, Spike, and then USA again. So USA, regardless, has been a big part of WWE since its tenure, since Raw at least started. And they're moving away from it again. Wow. Guess what this means too? That means they're moving away from Peacock. That means live stream pay-per-views will no longer be available on Peacock. Wow. Now that's definitely something to look into. Because clearly, these live stream shows, these premium live events, are going to need a new home. So wherever they land, whatever service they decide to give the TV rights to, they're going to have a streaming platform, which is why Amazon and Disney are big contenders, because they both have very noteworthy streaming platforms. But Yeah, we're moving away from USA Network, but we're also moving away from Fox. Now, this one is interesting because Fox was giving them a lot. Fox gave them I think it was just $1 billion, right? I thought it was like 1 point something. Never mind. $1 billion. Fox gave them a lot of money for the rights to SmackDown. And they're moving away from Fox. So that's a pretty big deal to me. Which lets me know that this Endeavor deal that they signed, they're all in with it. If they're moving away from Fox. They're not even trying to negotiate something new with Fox. They're just moving away from it. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a huge hit to Fox, although they still have sports. They still have football, and they get access to, I think, baseball and all that kind of stuff too. But still, like, there ain't a lot of content to go around nowadays on TV. Everything's moving to streaming platforms. If you don't have a streaming service, you're missing out, man. It's like what used to be TV channels has now become streaming services. Every single channel back in the day had crappy TV shows, awesome TV shows. Just like streaming services. They have crappy shows and awesome shows. How we consume content is changing. As it should. Changing with the times, man. So, when we look at WWE moving forward from Fox and USA Network, two names come to mind. Two big major names. You know them, of course, as Disney and Amazon. So, someone just told me that it was TNN that they were on. When was Raw on TNN? Because I'm pretty sure it was USA, Spike, and USA. Was SmackDown on TNN? Let me see here. Someone's telling me they were on TNN at some point, and SmackDown was on... No, SmackDown was on UPN. I remember that. Okay. So it was TNN. Then it was Spike TV and then USA Network. Or was it USA, then TNN, then Spike TV, then... Okay. Give me a time frame when they were on TNN. Because I feel like they were on USA Network like when they first started Raw. So maybe it was the other way around. But thank y'all for helping me out with that. I don't know why I thought they were on USA for a short time there. Anyway, let's move on. Back to the subject. SmackDown, Raw, regardless of what we're talking about. Oh, that's right. Spike TV used to be TNN. Oh, that makes sense. There we go. Now that makes sense. Okay, so it was USA Network, then TNN, which became Spike TV. Thank you. That makes sense. Because I was like, when did they go to TNN? I'm pretty sure it was USA, Spike TV, and then USA. It's TNN and Spike TV. They're the same thing. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. I was very confused. I was like, when did they go to TNN? And then people reminded me, well, TNN used to be Spike TV. So, sorry. I was just like, maybe I got my information wrong. I appreciate that. Okay. Back to the subject at hand. I appreciate that. So, when they move forward, WWE moves forward from Fox and USA, big contenders are Amazon and Disney. So, as you know, the biggest contender, and we talked about this way back when TV rights were being negotiated for the sale, I said Disney was probably in the top 3. And it's looking like Disney's going to get the rights to WWE. Now, we'll talk about Amazon in a second, but yeah, Disney is a strong contender. Fightful Select, PW Insider, and WrestleVotes have talked about Disney most likely acquiring the rights to WWE. So what does this mean? Basically, that they will have all these talents to feature, and whatever platform, they want, and maybe movies. I think what's good about a relationship with Disney is that they have access to Star Wars, Marvel, and all these other movie companies that these wrestlers, if they ever want to get to Hollywood, they can just run through, which is great. See, we already see Seth Rollins doing filming for Captain America. This just streamlines WWE talent moving to Hollywood a lot better because they're doing it through Disney. So that, if anything else, makes this relationship even more palpable. But on top of that, when you're talking about branding, when you're talking about marketing, no bigger company has a greater marketing machine than Disney. And I've said that many times before. The only reason why WWE would choose Disney over anything else is the marketing machine. You will know about WWE. The great thing about Disney, besides, being literally Disney, classic movies, classic animations, Disney World, been around for almost a century. It's a hallmark of not just the USA, but just the world, period. They're everywhere. Everywhere. Doesn't Japan have a Disney? I think Japan has a Disney World, right? Someone look that up for me. Everywhere you go, there's Disney. So, because Disney is connected to so many aspects of the world, WWE would be funneled through that. Guess what that means? They get to expand their product. So, when you're talking about growing WWE and trying to make more money, the best product, the best brand here to help produce and market your product, you want Disney. Disney is the place for that. The downside to Disney, and I've seen many, many, many stories about this, not just with sports, but also a lot of things. The red tape. If you thought PG WWE is bad, look out. Look out. The upside to companies like Amazon is that there's a lot more freedom. A lot more freedom to be a little bit more edgy. With Disney, if you're someone into cussing, if you're someone into, no blood, not very sexual content, just good, clean family fun. Oh man, you're gonna love WWE then, because that seems to be the direction they'll go if WWE gets picked up by Disney. Man, that's pretty bad. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm having trouble enjoying the product now with the guy running the show. You know the guy is not Triple H, but Vince McMahon. That guy, yeah, him. He's in the live chat. I'm just joking. But for real, it's already hard enjoying the show as it is. But now you're going to put more red tape over it? I don't like that. I don't like it. I know people are making their jokes about Roman Reigns showing up on Disney Channel. This is the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and you're watching the Disney Channel. Ooh-ah! You know what I mean? Bianca Belair. This is the EST Bianca Belair, and you're watching the Disney Channel. Girl, you know what I mean? Just little stuff. This is the man, Becky Lynch. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It's just it's fun to joke about, but as a wrestling fan, you get depressed. These old, out-of-touch farts just continue to make the wrestling that I love even less enjoyable, because it's about the money first. And if you think Nick Khan gives a shit about the quality, he can wipe his ass with the quality of the show. All he cares about is how much money am I going to make. That's all he cares about. That's what makes him a ruthless businessman. We'll talk more about him when we get to NXT. So if Disney does pick up WWE, more than likely you'll see them on ESPN, ABC, and what is apparently being reported, FX. Now that is most likely where both shows are going to be, FX. I don't see them passing up on the chance to be on ABC. If they can get on ABC Channel 13, ooh, that's big. Now, if I was a marketing genius, I would have them pick up SmackDown, not Raw. And keep this in mind, too. This is 2024 when this happens. I doubt Roman Reigns will be on top. When Roman Reigns drops the belt at WrestleMania, if we even get there, again, I see him dropping it at SummerSlam, but they might have him drop it at WrestleMania. Regardless, whether it's SummerSlam or WrestleMania, he won't be champion by the time this deal happens. By the time they negotiate and they have these shows on different networks, Roman won't be champion. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be extremely interesting to see what they do. I don't know, man. I think this is just how I feel when it comes to WWE and Disney. We can sit here all day and be worried about the red tape. Ultimately, for this business to survive, for WWE to continue to grow for different generations, you're going to need a business typhoon that's going to be here for a long, long time. And there isn't a bigger business than Disney right now. And the next big one is Amazon. So, the upside to Amazon, and this is what I will say. Disney Plus might not do live streams. I don't think they live stream events. But that's okay because ESPN does. So, if WWE does get bought out by Disney, well, it can't be bought out because it was bought out by Endeavor. If the TV rights get owned by Disney, they can put the pay-per-views, the premium live events on ESPN. That I'm worried about because that means ESPN can probably charge us more for the live events. I'm not a fan of that at all. I think that's a huge mistake. But we'll talk about that when it happens. And I'll say when, but we'll get to that in a second. So if we do move over to Disney, ESPN, Disney Plus, ESPN will host the live events, and in that case, let's hope the pay-per-view buys don't go up. I mean, the pay-per-view prices. That's what I meant to say. You want the pay-per-view buys to go up. The pay-per-view prices don't change. If it's just like a $10 thing, again, sure. That's fine with me. I'll take that. Seriously, I will seriously consider taking that. But if I had to pay an extra $50 to watch WWE content, no. No, again, we'll worry about this in 2024. We don't have to worry about it now. Peacock is still going to have WWE. At least until the end of 2024. So we'll worry about it then, but Jesus Christ, I don't know what else to tell you when it comes to ESPN, though. Ooh, didn't ESPN make people pay like $60 for UFC? We'll have to see. But let's talk about Amazon. So Amazon, and I might have to look this up. We already know Amazon Prime is an excellent streaming service. They already have a deal with NFL to live stream some of their football games. So they're already in the live streaming aspect of the streaming services. They're already in that. And that's great. You want that. They already have a ton of followers. I think Amazon Prime might actually have more subscribers than Disney. I'm actually looking that up now. Who has more subscribers? Amazon or Disney? Let me see. Yeah, I say it right. Check this out. Amazon has 220 million subscribers. Disney Plus has 137 million. That's close to an extra 100 million subscribers on Amazon. So that already beats Disney. And yes, that's even more than ESPN. If you combine ESPN and Disney together, they still have more. So that by itself is a strong deal for WWE. Live streaming their pay-per-views on Amazon, to me, that might be a deal seller for me. As much as I love Disney and its marketing machine and their ability to make people care and people will know more about WWE if you go with Disney. In terms of like quality and the production of my live streams, I want Amazon over Disney Plus or ESPN and Disney Plus. I want Amazon. The downside to Amazon, and I'm looking this up right now too. Let me see. Amazon owns what TV channels? So what TV channels does Amazon own? Isn't that big media? Yeah, you're gonna have to. I might have to do some research with that because I have no idea. I think they own. I know they own AMC. AMC, I know that. Is that the only one they own? Okay, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look it up. I have no idea what TV channels Amazon owns, but man, that's probably a downside more than anything else. Is when it comes to Amazon, their TV channels are not that noteworthy. Like in comparison to Disney, who owns ABC and ESPN and what else did I say? FX. Those are extremely noteworthy channels. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research on what channels Amazon own, but I don't think they own anything noteworthy. So if you're trying to invest people in your TV product more than your pay-per-views, unless you're planning to move everything to Amazon, which I think in the future might be best because TV's dying. But maybe they don't want to do that right now. Maybe they just want to deal where you can get both. And if that's the case, then yeah, Disney's the best choice. And yeah, that puts Amazon second. Someone just says Amazon owns Twitch and Audible. Yeah, I know that. And Hulu. Hulu is also owned by Disney. You're absolutely right. Man, this is crazy. I'm gonna have to look this up, but probably what's gonna hurt their Amazon deal is the fact that they don't really have major TV networks that they can put WWE on, and you already know Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is huge on TV rights. If there ain't a weekly television show, a weekly television channel that they can have these shows on, he's gonna say no. So, based off of the two we got, we can get more contenders as time goes by. But if it's just Amazon and Disney, I think Disney's getting it. And with that comes a whole new set of perks, but also consequences. We'll have to see, man. I think long term, this is just how I feel. Disney is great for them in terms of marketing and getting their names out there. I think long term, in terms of looking ahead 10 years, 15 years, you probably want Amazon. Amazon is probably what you want more. But this is probably a short-term deal anyway, so probably in the next 5 years, they'll leave Disney and then move on to Amazon if they want them by that point. But yeah, just give me your thoughts about this, man. Like, imagine WWE leaves USA Network, leaves Fox, and goes to ABC, FX, ESPN, and the Disney Channel. The freaking Disney Channel. I'm a bit scared. Man. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna be weird. Someone just asked me, is Amazon less than Disney? Well, in terms of the streaming service, it depends on what you're getting. If you're getting like free ads, then Disney costs more. Especially if you're using the Disney bundle. If you're using Hulu, Disney, and then ESPN, which is probably what you're going to have to get if you want to watch WWE, it's somewhere in the 20s. It's like 20, I think it's exactly $20. Probably 21, 22 bucks. It's in the 20s, that's for sure. And Amazon, I think, is the deal I have with no ads is, I think someone said $14.99. I think that's right, $14.99. So yeah, Amazon costs less than Disney. Unless you want ads, which I don't. I hate ads, so no. I even play, for me, when I watch YouTube, I pay for the premium. I do that now. I might as well just fork over the $10 and not have ads. So, it depends on what you want. That's for sure. But yeah, that's a big one, man. That's a big one. Give me your thoughts. Where would you want WWE? That's my question to you. Where would you want it? Would you want it with Amazon? Would you want it with Disney? Tell me why. Let me get your thoughts about that. But that's a big one. That's a big topic. Speaking of topics, Seth Rollins. It's a massive topic. We'll get to him when we get to the Raw review for sure. But Seth Rollins has been called out on NXT. I've already done videos about it. I talked about it last week. You already know where I'm going with this. So apparently, Braun Breaker challenged Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. But it's not going to be on Raw. It's going to be on NXT. And they announced in like a reel that Seth is going to appear on NXT this week. Literally tomorrow. And then we'll know if he accepts the challenge. Which he will. And then he'll fight Braun Breaker for the championship on NXT. Now, why are they doing this? Why would you break your own rule? Again, my biggest issue with WWE is that they make the rules and then break them. It makes no sense. You tell me this is how things work, and then you just do something completely different than what you tell us how it works. It's stupid. It's stupid. But that's WWE for you. But anyways, regardless of the rules, they want Seth Rollins on NXT to fight Braun Breaker. Now, why is this? I'll tell you exactly why this is. We just got done talking about TV rights. NXT is a part of those TV rights. It's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And as of right now, if you look at NXT, as much as I love Shawn Michaels, and as much as I love certain talent on there, Roxanne Perez, of course, Carmelo Hayes, and many others, a lot of the roster's green. It's developmental. And here's the issue with that. When you got a 2-hour show that really doesn't do much for you, why would you want it? You tell people that it doesn't matter, that it's developmental. Why should they watch it? Right? Well, Nick Khan, a guy that's trying to make more money, has put out some type of edict that he wants NXT to now feel like a third brand. You had that! You had that! I'm sorry. It just really pisses me off. 2014 to 2019, you had what was called an actual third brand. In my opinion, your A brand, NXT Black and Gold. That was the best brand. Undisputed. That was the best show in WWE. It was better than Raw and SmackDown for those 5 years. Run by Triple H. That to me was true WWE. Because it was unique. It brought in talent that you don't see a lot on the main roster. The NXT takeovers. Oh my goodness! Gave us some of the greatest matches I personally have ever seen. It had storylines, it had characters, it had story arcs, long-term booking. NXT was the premier show for WWE for 5 years. They just didn't book it like it. And Vince hated it because it wasn't a show that he was booking. He couldn't stand that NXT was doing better than the main roster shows. He hated that shit. He couldn't stand that shit. So what did he do? Him and Bruce Pritchard killed it. They took over NXT and called it 2.0. And it sucked. And as a result, it made it developmental again. He made it developmental. He demeaned it. He diminished it. And completely killed the momentum of NXT. He did that. Keep this in mind. NXT got those 2 hours when it was at its prime. And the only reason why NXT even got 2 hours on Wednesday nights was because AEW started its own wrestling channel. And WWE wanted to kill it. Yeah, AEW started its own wrestling show. That's the only reason why NXT premiered. 2 hours. From 7 to, 7 to 9, I said it right, 7 to 9 on Wednesdays to hurt AEW. Anyone telling you otherwise are liars. They do that shit on purpose to hurt AEW. They do. But regardless, it was a great show. But then they started to realize that this show is better than the main roster shows, and that's not okay. They can't have that. So, now that we're 2 years down the road after 2.0 took over, and then they changed it back to NXT White and Gold, I don't know what that's really is. This is Shawn Michaels' show now. I don't even know what Shawn Michaels defines it as. Developmental third brand. I don't know. I guess it's still developmental. But see, now that TV rights are coming up, now they're like, ooh, okay. Well, I need to make more money. This is Nick Khan. I gotta make more money. I gotta have more time slots to get commercials in and draw more revenue for the company. If we lose NXT, you lose money. Oops. But no one cares about NXT now. So I guess we gotta make them care. And you know how we make them care? By just throwing some talent on there. Oh, here comes Baron Corbin. Or here comes Mustafa Ali. They're free agents, so who cares? Oh, here comes Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke? She's not a free agent. Shh. 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 The hell? Dana Brooke is a Raw talent. Now she's on NXT. Shh. And now Seth Rollins is showing up to defend his belt on NXT. Why? Because we need people to watch NXT and care about it. And so they can tell the people who are going to buy the TV rights to be like, hey, you can have Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. But what they don't seem to realize, because they're fucking idiots, is that just because you take Raw and SmackDown talent and throw them on NXT, just because you might have a Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler now going to NXT because you're going to unify the NXT tag team titles with the actual women's tag team titles. Yeah, because that's the only reason why they're going to have Ronda on there. That's the only reason they're doing this. They're not really trying to make the brand worthwhile. They're not trying to build new stars and create storylines that make people want to watch. What they're doing is just taking the people they've already made, and because they're lazy as fuck, just moving them to NXT or just having them do double duty that week. Because that's what's happening. Seth is just going to show up on NXT. That's it this week, and then wrestle Braun Breaker next week. Which is, look here. I'm never going to turn down Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. That's a great match waiting to happen. But why does it have to happen on NXT? You told me that the World Heavyweight Championship was exclusive to Monday Night Raw. Now you're going to have it defended on NXT because Braun Breaker says he wants a shot? Why doesn't anybody just ask for a shot? They just did a tournament. They just did a tournament. Raw and SmackDown. Across both brands. Make these guys go through all this shit to get one shot at this world title. And now we're just giving it to anybody that wants it. On Raw, NXT, probably SmackDown. That's the kind of shit that just makes me... Again, like, it's just little things like that that just makes me so upset about WWE. Everyone just wonders why I just ran on this company so much. They do this to themselves. This shit makes no sense. And it continues to make no sense. You want Braun Breaker to fight Seth Rollins? Cool! Move him up to Raw! Just move him up. And then challenge Seth Rollins in an open challenge. If anything else, we're doing an open challenge next week, right? Have Braun Breaker accept that one. And then we would have no problem. But if you're going to move Seth Rollins down to NXT in some sad ploy to trick TV rights into purchasing NXT with Raw and SmackDown, that is the lowest scummy form of making people care about your television show that I've seen. That's scummy. Because when you get your TV rights for NXT, you're going to go right back to not caring about it. It's low ball, low hanging fruit, and it's stupid. It's stupid. But this is what they're doing. They don't care. Nothing makes sense. And they know it doesn't make sense. You think that's going to stop them? Hell no. And what hurts this match in particular is the fact that Seth Rollins is going to fight Finn Balor at Money in the Bank. And they didn't even promote Braun Breaker tonight. So I'm already thinking that Braun's going to lose. Which is sad. Like, that's a match that would really be a great match to do. You could have, honestly, as much as I enjoy Finn Balor and Seth Rollins having a long-term story to their match, or at least a story that goes back, 7 years? About 7 years, right? maybe almost 7 years. Regardless, like imagine Braun Breaker just running through the main roster to get to Seth Rollins. Man, if they were, I swear to God, if Triple H was in charge, this wouldn't even be a deal. I guarantee you Braun Breaker would be on the main roster right now if Triple H was in charge. And then have Braun Breaker run through everybody, and then you have him fight Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Man, what are we doing? With the way this is set up, Braun is going to lose. Will the match be great? The match might be fucking awesome. But I don't care about it now because there's no way Braun beats Seth right now. They've already told you that the match that they're doing at Money in the Bank is Seth versus Finn. And that has a bigger story. So there's no way Braun beats Seth. There's no way. So now I have to ask, when Seth beats Braun, what does that do to Braun? What do you do with Braun Breaker after that? You have Seth go down there and just beat Braun Breaker. Now what? Now what? What are you doing? What are we doing? He already lost to Carmelo Hayes. Clean. So now you're gonna have him lose to Seth Rollins. I think that's stupid. Cause look here. I don't know how many times I keep telling y'all. Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Roxanne Perez. Maybe there's two more I can think of, but not right now. Those three in particular. Well, the other two were called up, I think. Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes was called up. Because I was going to say someone else, Cameron Grimes. But for the longest time, I've been said to y'all that Braun Breaker was main roster ready. And for the longest time, I said that when they move him up, he needs a strong push to that main event scene. Because he has all the tools. But now it's like, with him losing to all these big contenders already, they're going to have to start him back over again. And that's stupid. It's stupid. But whatever. I'm not writing the show, right? So there you go. We're going to have that match probably next week, and Seth is going to beat him. Because he has to. Because Seth is going to be... He's going to be fighting Finn Balor. So there's no other reason for Braun Breaker to even get a shot at Seth at this point. Because, once again, it makes no sense for the Raw exclusive championship to be defended on NXT. So, will the match be awesome? Yeah. But it's like you really just have to turn your brain off. You have to turn your brain off when you watch this show. You can't get invested in anything. There's no reason to get invested in anything if you're just turning your brain off. I don't want to think. Bitch, shut the fuck. I'm sorry. It's just people just get on my nerves. And social media has become so toxic now, man. It's become so toxic. You know, I come up here and I express myself about how I feel about the wrestling shows. Just give you my wrestling views, my wrestling opinions. Because I come from a place of someone that wants wrestling to be good. That's all. I just want wrestling to be good and entertaining. And then half the time when people watch these shows, they're disappointed that they're not as good as they should be. And I go, because the people in charge don't care. And this is why. But then you got this other part of the fandom that even when it's terrible, and let's get into this Raw review. This is a great segment, a great segue into this Raw review. Even when the show is clearly bad and it's clearly terrible, they will find a way to tell you that it's really not that bad. No, it's not bad for you because you don't give a fuck about whether this show is good or not. You have some type of an unhealthy parasocial relationship with WWE where it's like Vince McMahon is paying you invisible dollars to say this shit is good. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I make more money through WWE than you do by doing these YouTube videos. Most of the people don't even make as much money. They don't make money at all. And they defend WWE as if they're giving them thousands of dollars. I would understand if they were an employee and WWE defending it. Of course you are. If you were a company man like Cody Rhodes, if you were a company man like The Miz, who had the first match in this show. Guess what? They've had plenty of matches in the past. I think they've had like 4 or 5 matches at this point. This is the worst out of the 5. This is the worst match out of those multiple matches they've had. I thought their chemistry was way off. Because I didn't care. I didn't care. Does anybody care? But most of the people think they're Cody Rhodes. Like, dude, you're not getting paid by WWE. You don't have to say that it's good. Okay? If you don't like it, just say you don't like it. You know, sometimes with AEW, I don't like everything that they do, and I'll come out and say it. But regardless, it's just crazy that people go out of their way to just defend this crap. And I think it's sad. But yeah, Cody Rhodes fought The Miz on this show, and he won. He's going to fight Dominic Mysterio at Money in the Bank. I do not understand why Cody is not in Money in the Bank. I don't understand why they're not even thinking about trying to have him fight Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But again, with the way things are structured, they'll probably have him to show up on SmackDown and challenge Roman. Probably, at this point. But the plan, I gotta keep saying it. The plan is to have him fight Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And they keep saying Cody has to finish the story, finish the story, finish the story, finish the story. They keep saying that. They keep mentioning that Cody wants to be a world champion. Finish the story, finish the story, finish the story. They keep bringing that up. And I'm just like, with the way these are looking, he ain't gonna finish the story until, what, WrestleMania 40? Jesus Christ, man. That's a long ways off. That's a long ways off. I don't agree with that. That's too long. It needs to be by SummerSlam. That's the best time to do it. And if you have to wait afterwards, Extreme Rules, fine. But nah, man. Like, Roman dropping the belt at Extreme Rules is not as impactful as him dropping the belt at SummerSlam. That's just how I feel. Cody clearly should be the next. Cody Rhodes is clearly your next face. Clearly. Post Roman Reigns, there is no one else that can fill that spot but Cody Rhodes. So if you're going to have him lose at WrestleMania, fine. Have him go through this feud with Brock Lesnar, but then get him back to that championship picture, please. That's what needs to happen. It has to happen that way. Regardless, I don't understand what they're doing with Cody right now. They're just trying to get him to SummerSlam against Brock. Although I feel like this should happen at Money in the Bank so he can then focus on Roman at SummerSlam. But I'm done trying to predict what WWE is going to do. They don't even know what the hell they're going to do. They don't know what they're going to do next week. Because Vince McMahon runs the show. The big talking point for tonight, just moving on, is the new Women's Championship, which everyone predicted was going to be exactly like what the WWE Women's Championship was, which was a replica of the main title of that show. So, on SmackDown, the main title is the undisputed Universal Championship, which has a black strap and gold plate. Well, their Women's Championship has a white strap and a gold plate. So like here on Raw, the men's belt has a black strap with a gold plate. So guess what the women's title looks like? You guessed it. A white strap with a gold plate. That's exactly what it is. Now, to be fair, and I'll be honest with you, I think it looks great on a white strap. I think the World Heavyweight Championship, the more I look at it, the more I like it. That shit looks great, man. It actually looks like there was effort put into the design. So if you want to make a replica of that for the women, sure, call it the Women's World Championship. That's fine. That's what it's called, I think. It looks great. And Rhea makes it look really good. I really like it. I think in terms of, just being completely lazy and just replicating the belts based off of what you already have, it's the best looking belt they got. I like it. Is it lazy? 1000%. Because they're not really putting any effort into these belts. They're just streamlining the belts to be similar to what they have already. Which is what it is. It saves money. But it's fine. I like the belt. I do. I really do like it. In terms of what they do with it, I have no idea. Who the hell is fighting Rhea Rippley? Who is fighting Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank? Is anyone fighting Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank? Do they have anybody to fight Rhea Ripley? Yo, okay. They don't have anybody for Rhea Ripley to fight. Okay. I talked about this on Friday with Charlotte Flair. I kept telling people, look, if you keep devaluing the women's roster, I think I talked about it in a video with Charlotte on actually last night, yesterday. If you keep having Charlotte jump in to devalue the women's roster, then you won't have anybody else. And see, now we've reached a point where there is literally no challengers for Rhea. She just holds a belt that nobody... It's like Rhea's up here, the rest of the women are just... Who are you going to have her fight? Candice LeRae? Tegan Knox? Jesus. That's what happens when you spend years having people like Charlotte Flair come in and just challenge for them and get the title shots. And all these women have to work hard for it. Makes them feel like geeks. They're geeks. But congratulations, Rhea Ripley, for getting a new belt. You look good with it. I mean, the rest of Raw was... I don't even feel like talking about it. I just kind of want to run through it. There isn't really much to say about tonight's Raw. I thought it was a very blasé, boring, lifeless show. I'm sorry. You had Becky Lynch go out there to talk to Zoe Stark, and their promos sounded wooden and rehearsed. God, it was so choppy. That's the thing with some of these rehearsed, micromanaged promos that Vince McMahon loves. They have a certain structure to them where if they have one little flub or they miss a cue, you instantly notice it. Because it fucks with the flow. What made Triple H's segments fun was that it allowed the characters to be characters. It allowed them to shine a bit more through who they are and develop their feuds through their personalities, right? And we had that going for a while, but now the freedom is gone. Now it's back to micromanaging and structuring. They write the script out for... It's like, what the fuck? Who talks like that? When Matt Riddle feels the wrath of the Archer of Infamy. Okay. This is just terrible segments. Even the Cody Rhodes and Miz segment was... I mean, the Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio segment was pretty bad, too. It was... it felt so rehearsed and so stagey. There was a part in the promo with Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio where I think Miz missed his cue, and Dominic Mysterio, it was stupid. Like, Dominic Mysterio said a line, and then there was this break in between, and Cody's just like, what? And it was awkward. And so they had to come up with something. And so Rhea got the microphone, and then she started saying something. And then there was another break of silence. And you're like, okay, who missed their cue? And then finally Miz comes in and attacks Cody. And it was like, oh my God. Like, oh God, everything is so rehearsed now. It doesn't feel organic. It's bad. It's bad, man. But that was just weird. What else happened on the show? Are we good? People were telling me the video froze. Did it freeze? Are we back? I apologize for that. I don't know why the video froze. I think we're good though. All right. Chelsea Green lost to Becky Lynch because why not? Well, I love Chelsea Green, but the booking with her is... Like, after Vince came back, she just felt so goddamn generic. Damian Priest beat Matt Riddle to, I think, round out the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So we do have a full lineup for the men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. And I can pull it up for you right here. There it is. So those are the people in the Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank qualifying match. So clearly, this is an LA Knight favorite to win. He's the favorite to win this. Damian Priest is probably a close second, but I have a feeling this is going to LA Knight. He has the biggest potential to be a main event star out of all of them, quite frankly. I don't hate the match. I think the match is going to be fine. I think the match is actually going to be pretty good, especially with Ricochet in there. The problem to me, and this is something I noticed when the lineup was done, I just went, there are no main eventers in this match. Usually Money in the Bank has at least one main eventer or a former world champion. These are all mid-carders. All of them. They're all mid-carders. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really. It's a bit weird, though. Because, think about it. Even the first Money in the Bank had Edge and Kane and Chris Benoit. I know you don't like saying his name, but it was a former world champion. Chris Benoit was a former world champion. Kane was a former world champion. Edge is a known main eventer. So these are straight up big names. And in 2006, Ric Flair. Come on now, Ric Flair. 2007 was Randy Orton. 2008 was who was in 2008? I think Jack Swagger was in that. Jack Swagger's a former. Again, I'm trying to think. When did Jack Swagger win Money in the Bank? That was 2010. I gotta go back and look at some of these matches, but every Money in the Bank match had at least one main eventer in it, or a former world champion, and I think that's been the case for the longest time. This is one of the there's maybe 2 or 3 that didn't, but for the most part, I'm so used to seeing at least one main eventer or a former world champion in it, and we don't have that. We don't have any of that this year. It's just all mid-carders. That's a bit weird for me. Is it bad? I don't say it's bad. It's just weird. You get me? So, off the top of my head, LA Knight, Damian Priest. I would love Nakamura to get the briefcase, but he's not. Nakamura and Ricochet would cancel each other out. LA Knight or Damian Priest. If you give it to Damian Priest, they already teased it on Raw. After Damian Priest beat Matt Riddle, he wants to cash. Okay, internet's going crazy. I apologize for that. But after Damian Priest beat Matt Riddle, he got confronted by Gunther. Gunther! Nah, 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 Gunther! So they're teasing an future IC title match between those two. And maybe Damian Priest is the one to beat him for it. But does he need the briefcase to do that? I mean, he'll have to cash in on him to make it happen. But does he need the briefcase to really do that, though? That's my thing. If I'm Damian Priest, I want to do that fair. If I want to smash over Damian Priest, I have him beat Gunther clean. That's what I would do. But that's the only reason why. That's the only way I see Damian Priest becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. With LA Knight, the possibilities open up a lot more. You can have him still cash in on Gunther. You can also have him cash in on Seth Rollins. You can have him cash in on anybody. If Cody Rhodes wins the Universal Championship, he can cash in on Cody Rhodes. There's a lot more potential with LA Knight than there is with Damian Priest, if I'm being honest with you. So, I'm still going to stick to my original pick, which is LA Knight. But who knows? Damian Priest could easily come back and win this. But we'll have to see. A lot of people like the fact that this is a match only featuring mid-carders. All right. Someone just said something dumb. I'm not going to repeat it, but I might have to later. It involves you-know-who. We'll talk about him later. Poor Natalya. Natalya was backstage talking about some maybe. She says that maybe never being the same is a good thing because being her hasn't gotten her anywhere. And maybe she doesn't know how to be herself anymore. Wow. You're like, what does that mean? Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get confronted by Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. They have a main event later on tonight. You know about that. Bronson Reed and Ricochet have a pretty decent match that ends in a DQ because Nakamura interfered. Jesus Christ almighty. Seth Rollins gets a promo segment with Finn Balor. Let me just say this real quick. Now, this is easily one of Finn Balor's most important segments, simply because it's a culmination of 7 years that he's been dealing with all this craziness in WWE. Because 7 years ago, and you guys should know this, 7 years ago at SummerSlam, Seth Rollins lost to Finn Balor, the Demon Finn Balor, and Finn became the first ever WWE Universal Champion, right? And he was going to lead the Raw brand. He was going to be the main guy on Raw. Then he got injured, and so then he had to drop the belt. And then Kevin Owens won the belt. But Finn Balor dropping the belt after an injury, that sucks. That sucks. And to me, I remember how hot he was. He was like the top merchandise seller. When he suffered that injury and went away for a year and came back in 2017, it was not the same. He never recovered from it. His career has not been the same. I think the closest we got to a career resurgence was that heel turn in 2019 when he went to NXT, right? And then he came back. But now he's back to just being a regular person on the main roster since he got called up. And so we're right back at this point where Finn Balor has to talk about, Seth, you ruined my career. You killed my momentum. You killed what could have been my time to be the guy. Because you were reckless and you powerbombed me into that barricade and broke my arm. Which, on paper, is a great story to tell. That is a great premise for a feud between him and Seth. Now, he wants to ruin Seth's title run and end his title run before he can have a long run. And I would think a feud like that, like, you can push that to SummerSlam. That's a great match to do with SummerSlam. But they're going to do it here at Money in the Bank. If you want to do a rematch at SummerSlam, you could, maybe with the Demon at that point. Honestly, who the hell else is Seth going to fight? Never mind. I know exactly who he's going to fight. We'll talk about him in a second. Finn Balor doing a match against Seth at Money in the Bank is great. But here's the thing. Seth Rollins says he wants to fight the Finn Balor that beat him at SummerSlam. The person who beat him at SummerSlam was the Demon. So is he going to fight the Demon? Which is great, by the way. But you're going to have the Demon lose to Seth Rollins? If anything else, it would make the most sense for Finn to fight Seth as the Demon. But then the Demon loses, so that devalues the Demon. But if Finn challenges Seth as Finn, I don't know if that's a good idea either. Okay. We'll get to that when we get to it. But the match at Money in the Bank is Finn Balor versus I keep getting SummerSlam mixed in there. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Which, again, lets you know that Braun Breaker is not going to be Seth Rollins. So I get invested. That's something we'll talk about when we get to Money in the Bank. Let me see here. Raquel Rodriguez versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna beat her because Ronda helped her win. It was a very bad match. I don't even want to say anything else about it. Chad Gable beats Eric. No one really cared about that. What they cared about was Maxine Dupree arm dragging by Hala on the outside. Cool. JD McDonough is talking to Finn Balor backstage. Damian Priest and Finn Balor have been teasing some type of a dissension amongst the ranks and the Judgment Day. Damian Priest congratulates Finn, but he says, don't go behind my back anymore. So, once again, teasing a breakup. It's looking more and more like Damian Priest is going to be excommunicated from the group and JD McDonough is going to be added to the Judgment Day. That's what it feels like to me. If not, Finn Balor be excommunicated. We'll talk about that later. And then the main event was Imperium versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Good match. Sami Zayn helps the team win after Matt Riddle interfered and distracted Gunther. But Sami Zayn wins with a Blue Thunder Bomb. Yay! That's how you know no one cares, because Sami won with a Blue Thunder Bomb. And that was the show. That was the show. That was Raw. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? That's right. Nothing else to care about. We don't have to talk about anybody else. Nobody else. Nope. Time to go home. Bye. Goodbye. That's it. Show's over. Goodbye. Fine. I guess we gotta talk about it, right? Y'all won't let me leave it alone. If I don't say anything, you're gonna complain and man. Why does Alyx hate him so much? You freaking idiots. Just when you thought I was done. Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water. Oh no! We're not done yet. It's bad enough that he wants to ruin George's life. And if you don't know who George is, go watch Impulsive. Those of you who've been keeping up with Logan Paul know exactly who the hell George is. It's bad enough that you're scamming people. It's bad enough that you're ruining everybody else's life, but now you gotta ruin my life too? God, Logan Paul is coming back next week. And we know what this is for. We know what he's setting up. He's gonna have a match at SummerSlam, and we already know what that match is. It's a rematch against Seth Rollins for the world title. It has to be. God. And then someone in the live chat, how funny would it be if Logan Paul entered Money in the Bank? Logan Paul's a main eventer. Shut up! They better not have Logan Paul show up at Money in the Bank and win the goddamn briefcase. Watch what? Nope. We're not going to do that. No. I am at peace. I am happy. Logan Paul's coming back next week. He's probably going to challenge someone to a Money in the Bank ladder match, or probably going to... I'm not going to be happy if Logan Paul accepts Seth Rollins' open challenge. I'm just not. It better not fucking happen. I know it's going to happen eventually. He's going to fight Seth at SummerSlam, more than likely. And this is the start of that. But God, why don't you go away? Go away! We don't want you here. I don't want you here. The fans might say they want you here, but they're lying to themselves. They don't want you here, Logan. Go away. There, I talked about it. Are you happy? Give me your thoughts about Raw. Give me your thoughts about what we talked about. Get my blood pressure up talking about Logan Paul. Damn. I hope y'all are satisfied. I hope you got what you wanted. God. How y'all feel about Raw? We got a lot to talk about. So give me your thoughts on the TV rights. Give me your thoughts about Seth going on NXT. And just give me your thoughts about how awful Raw is. Let me know. Alright, what y'all in here talking about? What we got here? Xavier Jackson says Nick should spell his last name C-O-N. Nick Khan Man. I agree. Deadpool will be called Pool fighting Roman. Deadpool versus Roman Reigns. Jesus Christ. Mickey Mouse picking a fight with The Miz. Oh, God. Cody's talking too much smack about Brock right now. That's his match at SummerSlam. Oh, yeah, he's fighting Brock at SummerSlam. Bianca Belair, tell me all the Muppets you don't go here. Huh, Bianca Belair and the Muppets. Jesus Christ, that's right. Disney owns the Muppets now. Undertaker has a roller coaster ride at Disney World. Yeah, that's true. NXT Black and Gold was exactly that, but Vince killed it. Yeah, NXT Black and Gold was a third brand, and Vince had killed it. Like, it's so fucking frustrating when you think about that. Someone said Cody Rhodes versus Woody. Woody from Toy Story? Funny. Yeah, Dana Brooke on NXT makes no sense. She's not a free agent. Vince. Why didn't they call up Braun Breaker? Why didn't they call up Braun Breaker? I don't know. You tell me. I don't get anything WWE is doing anymore. I stopped getting it when Vince came back. What the hell is this, y'all? I agree. What is this? Someone says someone might interfere with Braun Breaker and Seth. That's so dumb. Finn is the best option since he hasn't done much since joining Judgment Day. Plus, Rhea, Dom, and Damian have better chemistry in my opinion. They do. Someone says Finn should be excommunicated from Judgment Day. And then JD McDonough should take over. Yeah. Brock is going to cost Cody the match with Dom at Money in the Bank, and they'll continue their feud with their SummerSlam match. And Dom can be annoying and brag about how he beat Cody Rhodes. Yeah, probably. That's what I think is going to happen as well. Watch them add Logan Paul to Money in the Bank. Stop being funny, because you're not. You're not funny, sir. I actually like there's no main eventers in the Money. A lot of people are saying that they like that it's a mid-card match. That there's only mid-carders, alright? The crowd was so rude to Finn. Right! That's right! Finn Balor got drowned out by the crowd just singing Seth Rollins' battle hymn. That was pretty bad. Everyone was asking me to talk about Logan Paul. I didn't want to do it, but you made me do it. Y'all made me do it. Alright, we caught up. Let me go back to this here now. What y'all over here talking about? Am I jealous of Logan Paul? No, I just don't like him because he's a scumbag. Do you think it's possible for Roman to surpass Bruno's 1,237 day reign and Hulk Hogan's 1,474 reign? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're not going to have him hold it that long. If he hosts it to WrestleMania next year, I think he'll surpass Bruno's 1,237 day reign. But he's not beating Hogan's 1,400 reign. That's not happening. Because that means for him to do that, he would have to hold it, because he hit 1,000. He would have to hold it past SummerSlam next year. So for 4 years plus, that's not happening. That's not happening. He's going to lose the belt at SummerSlam. I was laughing my ass off at Finn being interrupted by the crowd. Yeah, that poor sap. Bianca Belair should attack Asuka and Charlotte mid-match on SmackDown and then make the triple threat match for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is probably what's going to happen. Probably. Yeah, I want Io to win Money in the Bank. For the women? She should. Honestly, Io Mrs. Money in the Bank would be pretty goddamn dope. Alright, guys, let's end it here. I didn't want to come up here and be here this long. We're close. Like I said, I told you when the stream started, it was going to go close to 2 hours. If I had added Drew McIntyre, we would be at exactly 2 hours, which is why I separated that from the live stream. So go back and watch that if you haven't. But if you're watching this now and you enjoy what you watch, please do me a favor and like the video. Do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. Leave a comment. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. And donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and Venmo. You guys are awesome. Thank you for making me a part of your day. As you file out, just say a prayer for me. Because I don't see Raw getting better. No one cared about this episode. The Denver Nuggets was probably the most talked about thing tonight. SmackDown will be a little bit better because we're going to be talking about the Bloodline, which is important. And then Saturday is very important. So here's the lineup for tonight. So not tonight. Here's the lineup for this week. Wednesday is Dynamite. Friday is, of course, Smacketh Down, and then Saturday is the debut of Collision, which is going to be a great show. I'm expecting that. And yes, I will be live afterwards to talk about it. So be there for that. But other than that, I think the week after... So the week after, as in next week, is the week for Forbidden Door. And then the week after that is Money in the Bank. And then we begin the builds to SummerSlam. And then after SummerSlam is All In. And then immediately after that is All Out. Jesus Christ, those are two massively big shows back to back. So it's going to be a busy summer, and I'm just trying to get through it because these shows suck now. Raw especially, it's not good. But I'm here doing a live stream to talk about it because that's my job. Hopefully when we get past SummerSlam, I can cut back on WWE because I need to. They're not getting any good, and they're not going to be good because Vince McMahon. Until Vince McMahon leaves, it's not going to be good. And they've accepted that, and I accept that. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you for making me a part of your day. And please come back for more. This is Alyx, just Alyx, signing out right here in Alyx's World. A place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I love you all. Please take care of yourselves. Remember what I told you. You have to take care of you before you can put others and Jesus before you. Love yourself first, and everything else will follow. So take care. Peace.